Renting versus buying in 2026, my honest take as a 26-year-old father who has been renting for almost 6 years now, and I would like to buy a property. Hello, my name is Oliver and welcome to the 100-day series where today is episode 26 and today it is renting versus buying. What should we do? Well, as someone who does want to build a house or buy land and build a house on it, which would be a lot cheaper, I do rent. In fact, my rent has been the same amount for 2 years now, which is good. I'm happy with that. If I wanted to move house though, and I wanted to live closer to family or to an area with better education for my son, I'm going to be looking at 2-3 times what I pay now, which is astronomical in costs. So how would that compare to a mortgage? Because I would like to buy a house. Well, it depends where in the UK you're looking to buy a house, and it depends on your interest rate and everything like that. So I've just pulled up everything on my computer and it is pretty astonishing, to be honest with you. So I've just put a calculation in of, on average, £300,000 to buy a property. Could you buy a property for £300,000? Yeah, you could, depends where you are in the country. I could get a house a few miles up the road for 250. 300,000 down where I'm from would probably be an apartment. So you can get them. Costs vary wisely. So on £300,000 with a 10% deposit over 25 years at 5%, you're looking at £1,580 a month, or at 5.5%, you're going to be looking at £1,650 a month, which is very typical right now. So the range will probably be anywhere between £1,500 and £1,700 per calendar month for a mortgage. That's on a 10% deposit, obviously. I mean, if you upped it to a 20% deposit, we can just do a quick calculation here. With a 20% deposit, it won't be much difference, £1,350 to £1,450 per month. Again, it's absolutely crazy. I want to own a property. I would like to buy a property. I'd like to build one. As I've said, I could buy land and I could build a house with my own two hands. I know how to build a house. I've watched enough videos on it, and I do handyman work, so I could easily build a house with my own two hands. It'd probably take me a couple of years, but I could do it for a fraction of the cost of £300,000. But realistically, renting's probably better. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that renting's probably better, but when I'm looking at houses, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. If I rented a property worth around £300,000, where in the area that I'd like to live in, I'd probably be paying maybe that in rent anyway. And I guess renting gives a bit more freedom. It lets you explore your options more if you'd like to move on, such and such. A lot of people say it's throwing money away, and I do agree. I do believe it is throwing money away, but I also believe that having the option to just up and leave is wise. Now, something I have been looking into is shared ownership. Now, if you don't know what shared ownership is, basically it's when you buy a percentage of a house, you can live in that house, your percent can be 10% if you really want it to be, and then you can have rent to pay for the other part. So a house that I was looking at just today was a 4-bedroom detached house with a 10% share of £40,000. Now, bear in mind, that's a £400,000 house. I've already shown you the calculations of putting like £60,000 down as a deposit, but you could own a share. And then the rent on top was about £850 a month, and service charge was £1 a month. When you compare it like that, shared ownership is the better option. Is shared ownership the correct option to make though? I think in today's economy, it is a viable option completely to be able to do that. Obviously, I prefer to own a house because you might want to extend it or do more things that you'd want to do. But having a shared ownership property, in my current situation at least, I'm not a millionaire, is probably wise. And it might be throwing money away, but is it? Is it? This is the thing. I've spoke to my mum about this and she says it's throwing money away, and the costs to come out of shared ownership and trying to sell it, etc., things can take time, things will cost, and you'll probably lose what you've put into it. But even if I lost £40,000 and my rent was £850 a month, say I was there for 10 years, I could have been paying 1,800 a month on a mortgage. So when you calculate like that, you're saving £1,000 a month. That's what? 40 months. That's not even 4 years that I'd need to live there to physically make it a better option. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So renting versus buying. Renting, do it. If you can, if it's the better option for you, 100% do it. It gives you the leeway for other things. Obviously, buying would be so much better. Owning your own property, if you can physically, financially afford it, then do it. If you want to rent or buy, buying up north is cheaper, definitely. The further away from London you get, the cheaper properties are. As I've said, I can find houses for 250,000 down the road that I could buy. If I had it cash, I'd buy one today. And then I can go look at the area I'm from and be paying £300,000 for a flat. That is not an exaggeration. So when you can compare two different areas of the country, they are astronomical costs. My mortgage down south would be a lot more for a smaller property compared to my rent now. And I do have a decent sized property. I live in a 2-bedroom top floor apartment with an ensuite. I have 2 bathrooms, 2 showers, a bath, 2 bedrooms, kitchen, living room, loads of parking spaces. I have a really good property here. It's not in the best location personally. I would like a better location. It works for my son. It's a safe location. It's a very safe location. I cannot stress that enough. It's a very safe location. But I would like to own a house. So I might go shared ownership in 2026. I'm really considering it. And I don't want to say that, but it wouldn't take me that long once I've got a bit more money in to save up the deposit or even just pay, straight. And I was telling you, a 4-bedroom house, you can get 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom houses for less if you just buy like 10 to 25% share. So doing shared ownership, genuinely, I might be able to afford it. I could afford it potentially in a few months, and it could be the better option. And my CCJs will be completely off my credit file. I have a completely clean credit file that I could do it. Yeah, it's not the land. It's not the land I want, and it's not the house I want to build, but that can always come later. And a shared ownership would be financially better probably than rent, especially for the space. I like the space I've got. What I do lack is a garden. I would love a garden because the cat needs to be able to go outside. He doesn't really get to go outside, very rarely, and my son needs play equipment for outside. We do need the outside space, so if I can get that, then awesome. So yeah, that's my take. Rent for now, and then if you can build a house, it's going to be so much cheaper. It'll take a lot longer, but it'll be so much cheaper. If you want to buy a house, go for it if you can afford it. It's as simple as that, but think logically in the country where you want to be. I like comparing north to south, as I am a southerner living up north. Down south, land is more money, houses are more money. Go towards London, things are more expensive. You go over to the Cotswolds, they are more expensive than where I am now, but honestly, they're cheaper than, for instance, Sussex and Surrey. You go further north to where I am now, and you're paying next to nothing. My cousin pays next to nothing in rent for her flat that she's got up in Scotland, so depends where you are. Obviously, prices vary massively. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you have enjoyed this video. Please make sure to click like, comment down below if I've missed anything or if you have any questions. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Always hit the bell notification because you have no idea how much that will help me. And share this video to absolutely anyone because I want to know everyone's opinions on renting versus buying. Personally, building's the best option. Building. But shared ownership is honestly I don't want to say it, but it's a really good idea. In this economy, with how much we earn and how much you can buy a share for, compare it to the rent costs, it is the better option. Simple as that. As long as you're going to stay there long term. Adios. I'll speak to you guys all tomorrow. Goodbye for now.